So, Allie, why are you so passionate about the climate crisis? That's a question I get a lot. And I guess I could have a cute, pre-made speech about how when I was 2 years old I first saw a bee and realized how fragile life on Earth is. Or something like that. But to be honest, I'm not passionate about the climate crisis. I'm not even really a nature person per se. So why do I sacrifice quality time with my friends? Why do I stay up so late? Why do I miss classes just to organize climate strikes that put pressure on governments to act? Well, to be honest, what choice do I have? I'm a 21-year-old woman whose entire life will be impacted by the climate crisis. Now, because of where I was born, where I live, and the color of my skin, I will be much less impacted by it than others. But I'm here today to tell you that the burden of solving the climate crisis has fallen on the youth, even though we did not create it. I'm here to tell you that this burden is unfair. And I'm here to tell you that we are going to need everyone to become a climate champion. So I'm not passionate about the climate crisis. And apart from maybe a few future scientists out there, most of the young people striking for climate are not passionate about particles per million of carbon in the atmosphere. I mean, honestly. But we know our lives are going to be tainted by climate chaos. So if we've taken it upon ourselves to fight climate injustice, we are organizing our communities. We are taking it to the streets. And it's exhausting. Because when I show up to a climate strike, I don't see the people that are supposed to be protecting us. I see Neo, a 10-year-old boy who is writing songs about how we're killing our Mother Earth. I see Charlene, who brought her grade 10 class to a strike. I see 50,000 people in front of Parliament, and half of them are under 25, striking for the first time. And I see the behind the scenes too, with high schoolers staying up all night to write a safety plan because we feel responsible for our community. I see us writing press releases to explain why our voices even matter. I grew up in south of France, near the Mediterranean Sea. And when I first heard about the climate crisis, I was a little naive. I thought the reason it was allowed to continue was because no one knew about it. Like, I genuinely thought if I just went out there and told everybody around it, within a few months it would be resolved. Yeah, that was 6 years ago, so needless to say, I was a little off on that one. But then again, how could I have known? How could I have known that we have known about this problem for half a century? How could I have possibly guessed that the fossil fuel industry knew about this, covered it up and denied it to make more money, profiting off the destruction of my future? Still today, I cannot believe how many people had the chance to put a stop to it before I was even born. So why? Why did we wait until my generation, the last generation that could possibly do anything about it, to act? Well, when I ask people of other generations, why they're not doing more to help, I hear two things. One, it's not in my personality to be an activist. Or two, I just don't know where to start. To those who tell me they were not meant to be activists, I hear you. Not everybody likes grabbing a megaphone and screaming in front of Parliament. Not everybody can be comfortable standing for hours, facing the police, being in a crowd. But not being that activist doesn't mean you shouldn't be advocating for climate action in whatever role you already occupy, in whatever space you are comfortable in. Because the question should not be whether or not you're going to join this fight. The question can only be, how are you going to join it? Now, if there's one thing I know about advocating for climate justice, it's that it's a really contagious thing. I realize now that saying contagious in the middle of a pandemic is not a great idea, but I mean it. It is contagious. I've actually seen it in my own life. Once I started talking about climate change, my friends, my family, random classmates I barely even knew started talking about it too. Now, to those who say they don't know where to start, the answer is remarkably simple. Start where you are. That's what I did when I just started by putting up posters in my middle school library. Because I told you what I'm not passionate about. But one thing that does matter to me is family. And when I think about having my own family one day, I get really sad. Because I'm terrified of bringing a child into this world and having them one day look at me and say, "Mom, you knew? You knew this is what the world was going to look like, and you still chose to bring me in it?" So it doesn't matter how or where you start demanding climate action. But on behalf of my generation, I beg you, start. Just start.